All right, guys, good morning. Welcome back. Nice brisk morning out here. I've had a few sludges, so I'm ready to go. In behind me here, you can see my tractor, and I've got my winch on. Now that winch there, my Wallenstein FX85, I normally haul logs out with that thing. But today it's pulling double duty because I got a bit of a job ahead of me. Last night I was cutting some wood out at the sawmill, and like many of you guys, you maybe make a detour on the way back to wherever you are. After leaving the sawmill, maybe you take an extra trail with your machine, and well, you end up getting it buried and stuck, and that's exactly what I've done. And so I'm on recovery duty with that winch today. As you guys can see, this trail here, I usually bring the tractor down, but if you look down there on the ground, it's quite wet. And so I don't want to bring the tractor down too far because next thing you know, we'll get that thing stuck. Then we got big problems. But if you look this way, you can see I was on my way back up to the shop there after sawing some wood. And I decided to come down this trail that I was hauling logs out of that way a few weeks back. And sure enough, I made it to that point there, and as you'll see in just a minute, it got stuck, and it got stuck real bad. So let's go have a look and you'll see exactly why that is. This trail I'm trying to recover here, or at least make into something usable so I can get down it quite easily. At this point, I am not getting down it easily, and certainly not even with a machine like that. You can see there's all kinds of debris underneath of this. It's actually very wet, and so what happens is if you don't hit the right spot, well, you end up like I am right here. And so it was just about dark last night. I ended up having to leave this thing because I was using the winch. I was using all the ideas I had, the best ideas I had, and it still wasn't good enough. So to make matters worse, with using the winch so much, I ended up killing the battery, and the battery was low to begin with. So that's where it sits. So I can't even start it. I can't even drive it. Can't even spin the wheels because the battery's dead. And unfortunately, with this Polaris here, this 05 Polaris Sportsman, it doesn't have a pull start, which is a bit of a downside of it. So once the battery's dead, you're stuck. Anyways, let's see what we're dealing with. And as you can see, I still got the winch cable out. I was attempting to pull myself up to this location in front of us off that tree, but that didn't work. What ended up happening was this. You guys see that stump right there? So I was coming through, there was a whole bunch of dirt sort of right where that tire is, and I started spinning. Sure enough, it dug itself a hole. Couldn't get over this stump. I ended up trying to winch myself. I tried to winch myself that way. I tried to winch myself this way. Tried to winch myself this way. And because of that stump and because of that tire, I couldn't get that tire over the stump. And so we ended up just sinking ourselves. And if you look back there, check out how wet that is down there. It's like a swamp I'm riding on, so there's nothing really much I can do about it. And so this is essentially dead weight. And if you guys haven't been here before, where I'm in is basically a wet area that I'm trying to make into a trail, bit of a trail I can access with my tractor to haul logs out of. We've had a number of storms come through over the last while, and as you can see, it's blown down a lot of trees, and many of these trees I haven't even got to. And so I'd like to have the opportunity to get my tractor in here with that winch and haul the trees out of here. But getting stuck with my ATV is nothing compared to getting stuck with my tractor. So obviously I got a lot more work to do on this trail. Now with that ATV, I should have been able to drive through here in four-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive as Polaris likes to call it. However, you would have seen in previous videos I was struggling with the all-wheel drive. Well, I thought those problems were over. They are not. I'm still struggling to get it into all-wheel drive. And so I got to do a bit more work on this thing, and I certainly got to stop coming down here until I'm certain it's fixed. Anyways, I'm going to unhook the winch here in just a second. But if we have one more good look around here, you guys are going to see that we got a significant amount of mud. Oh, no, head over this way. See all that mud over there? And that mud's starting to freeze because it's getting cold at night. And the worst thing you can do, in my experience, well, maybe not the worst thing, but a bad thing, is you leave a machine like this stuck, buried in the mud when there's tons of moisture in it, because then that'll freeze, and then it'll be even worse. So I got to get this out of here before it gets any colder. And it's going to be a bit of a job, but I think we can do it. That winch back there I've got positioned as straight as I can to the ATV. I'm going to run the cable back here. That thing's rated for like, I don't know, 8,800 pounds or something. So that'll move, I guarantee it. Just, it's not exactly the most robust machine compared to a tractor. So I got to be careful where I hook it to. Anyways, let's unhook the winch. I'm going to switch out the receiver there. I'm going to put this guy in. That's what we're going to pull from. And I don't anticipate any problems, but Just like driving this ATV through here, sometimes the unexpected happens. Anyways, glad you guys are here. Let's get down to it. Red squirrels aren't liking me out here. Okay, here we go. Let's hook her up. Okay. Well, they suggest in the manual, and I don't have a ton of experience with this, so some of you guys might know better, but they suggest you don't use the end here as sort of a stop. So I don't want to just sort of hook on like this and use that to absorb the force. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pretend like I'm wrapping it around a log as they suggest. And I'm just going to use this. That'll be my stop essentially. I don't know if that prevents kinks in the cable or what, but I believe that's what it says in the manual. And then I'll just hook it up using a chain onto this right here. Leave that up there. And we'll run that through. I guess we'll go this way like that. Yeah, I don't know about that block, but some of you guys might be able to chime in for me. And then that'll pull it tight like that. So I think we'll fire that up. Maybe I'll give that more slack. We'll fire that up. I just put the ATV in neutral. As you can see, it's got a pretty big hump to get out of, but this thing's buried down in the frame. I think after I get this ATV out, I'm gonna haul out some of these stumps if I can do it with the winch. But anyways, let's do one thing at a time. Here we go. All right, guys, well, I can tell you I went back and forth probably a good 10 times here. I'm definitely sweating now, but we got the ATV out. The initial pull was probably the hardest, not to mention I need something to sort of hold the handlebars so it doesn't dart from side to side. I was going to bring some straps for that and forgot about that. Anyways, we got it back there, and this whole area is just completely littered with these stumps. You guys can see where the trees blew over and then I cut the tree. These stumps are a bit of a headache because you can see the side-to-side slope there, which makes it quite treacherous. One thing is for certain, I'm not getting a tractor down here anytime soon with this much unevenness, stumps, and wet areas. I think what I'm going to do, despite the fact that winter is coming, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the ground is not quite frozen yet, and I'm going to try to hook my winch to these stumps. You can see one there, and you can see that big one here that I got stuck on. You can see the tire just wedged itself in there against it. I'm going to see if I can pull that sucker out. Now I got to be careful here. If this ground was really solid and those stumps were really in the ground, I definitely wouldn't use the winch. That tractor is not invincible, nor is that winch willing to take it easy on the tractor. If this was really in the ground and I hauled on the winch, I'd imagine that tractor would be lifting up. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to use the winch while I got it. Maybe pull out that stump up there as well and just smooth this out just a little bit. Might as well. I'd be interested to see what it does, and I certainly don't want to get caught on here again. If you guys can imagine, when this gets covered in snow, if that's soft, well, I'll be hitting that with a ski or a load of wood, and that won't be a fun day either. Anyways, let's get back to it here. And oh yeah, I'm not just going to leave the ATV there. What I think I'm going to do, instead of fighting with it, going back and forth, darting side to side, I'm going to leave it right there, just off to the side of the trail. I'll come back here with the battery pack and I'll boost it. Then I can just drive it out of here. I was thinking, when I first cut these stumps, after they had pretty much blown down, I should have left a little bit on the base there. That way I could have winched them out, but I guess at the time I didn't actually have a winch. And so I didn't think I'd be doing this, but obviously I do now, so I'll try her out. Okay, give her a whirl. That'll do it. I tell you, that tractor's got some juice behind it. It's just off idle, like just a little bit off idle, and you know, it grunted just a little bit, but barely anything. And well, as you can see, that's the result. I think what's going to happen, I'm just going to leave her there. Maybe I can pull it a little further in, and then we'll move on to the next. Right on. This might be a chore. Get it. Ah, better be worth it. Okay, one more. Get out. There. Okay, don't fail me now. All right, one more here I want to take care of, and when I'm coming this way with a load of wood in the snow machine, what happens is if the snow's really deep here and not packed in, the ski hits it. Either that or the ski rides over it, but the heavy wood sleigh, it ends up hitting it and really could do some damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull this one out, and that'll eventually make it so hopefully this can smooth out a bit. But as I did before, oh, maybe I got an opening. As I did before, I had to dig down to get under it. The roots aren't very deep on these, but still got lots of soil in here. So I think what I might do on these, you might have seen my other choker chains, I put a bit of a hook on it, and that way when you're pushing it down under a log, if you can imagine, you want it to go down under the log and back up. You don't want it to go into the soil. So I might just put a bend on this back at the shop for next time around. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a challenge. Guess I could get a shovel. And some of you are probably saying, well, bring your tractor here. Well, the truth is, if I could get my tractor here, I wouldn't be using the winch, and I wouldn't be doing this stump pull-out job. Although this is probably better, hooking my tractor up to something and bending the loader. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Don't know if I'm getting under this other one. I might just pull by the one root here. I'm pretty certain it'll break it, but then it'll flip it up, and then I'll wrangle it up one more time. All right, guys, well, I thought we were going to have some problems by breaking off that stump and having to pull it out in several pieces, but obviously it came out in one. That is going to make life a lot easier, because if you guys look, there's no stumps right there now. When I finally get the tractor down this way, I can then just smooth that out with the bucket. So I think what I've done here today is I found one of my new favorite activities. I love pulling stumps out with this winch. Up until now, I'd try to get it out with the bucket, and you know, when you use the bucket on a loader on a tractor, there's a lot of torque that can be applied, and if you apply it in the wrong way, you'll bend the bucket, bend your loader, hurt the tractor, whatever. And so I much prefer using the winch. I don't like using the tractor to haul out stumps with just the loader. So this will definitely rank up there as one of my more favorite activities. It's very satisfying when you finally feel the tension release on the winch, because you know it's pulled out the stump. Now, whether it would pull out a stump of like a big red oak or white oak, probably not. But if we're in real wet soil like this, these things are coming out nice and easy. The tractor's barely working, so not overly taxing on the machine in the least. Anyways, I got a few more stumps going on down there. I am probably gonna, while the day is half decent out here before the snow, try to haul the rest of those out of here. If we have a look at where we started, well, the ATV was, where was it? I don't know. It was somewhere in here earlier today. Obviously, if I left that stump and just pulled the ATV over it, well, that stump would probably burn me another time. So we got it out of here completely. The only trouble is, as you can see, it is still very wet down here. I have a bit of a spring that runs off that hill here. So I'm gonna have to figure out something long-term if I ever hope to get the tractor through here. In the meantime, I guess what I'll do, I'll let it freeze up after I get the stumps out, and we'll use it in the winter, and we'll revisit this project in the spring. If you guys have any ideas as to how I can make this a decent sort of skidding trail for the tractor or even the ATV, let me know down below. Just keep in mind, stone is not free, and I got a long ways to get it through the bush to get it here, and so I'm trying to come up with an alternative. Corduroy road? I don't know. Culvert? I don't know. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions at all about my overall setup, Back there, that's my DK40 SE. That's my hydrostatic transmission. That's hooked up to a relatively new to me Wallenstein FX85. Definitely one of my favorite tools. Happy to share anything I know about it. And if you guys know anything about it, please let me know. Take care, be well, make sure you subscribe. See you guys next time.